And we're here, it's Saturday.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Women of Nerd Culture. We are the Women of Nerd Culture. My name is Sarah, and with me, as ever, is the lovely Becca.
Hello.
And and we've got a very special guest. Whoa, Sammie's returned,
She's
Yay!
back!
which may give you a hint for the theme of this week's episode.
Just a little.
Welcome back, Sammie.
Hi, thank you for having me back. It's been nearly been a year.
It has.
God, has it been that long?
Hmm.
Well, I,
Yeah,
I figured that considering what we're talking about today, we really couldn't do an episode on this without having you.
I'd be livid. I'm
I
not
know
gonna
you would
lie.
be.
I'd be a bit. No.
So this episode, we are flying into spooky season and discussing the heroines of horror, be it characters, the actresses, authors, or the many women behind the camera, behind the scenes. Anything to do with horror, women have been involved somewhere. So we're going to talk about some of our favourites today. And yes, women have been there since the beginning.
Right
Now,
at the beginning.
right at the beginning. Now, I'd like to start with a comment that stood out to me on our Instagram when we asked our lovely followers who were their heroines of horror. Dr. Celluloid said that women in horror are the cornerstone of the genre and should be celebrated. And without strong women, where would horror be? They also named a few of their favourites, including Caroline Williams, Jamie Lee Curtis, Heather Langenkamp, and Kelly Maroney. And I thought, how great is that? It's always great to have a positive comment on the socials. So, and I thought, you know what, that just kind of sets the theme for what we want to talk about and like discuss today.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so much.
Right, so let's start how we normally do then, ladies. What do you remember about your first experience with heroines of horror and what effect did it have?
Oh,
Ooh,
Do you want to start, Sammy?
oh,
yes. Guest first.
oh my gosh.
Yes, first.
Oh, the first. That's a hard one
Well, the
because
earliest you remember.
she's not a heroine, but she's definitely someone who's in. Oh my God. Well, yeah. Sorry, it's just come to my brain there. Sorry, I've just had a brainwave. It has to be Elvira. It has to be the
Yeah.
Mistress of the Dark. Because when I think I talked about this on our first episode
Mm-hmm.
of Women of Nerd Culture. When I got into horror, it wasn't long after I got into Elvira.
Mhm.
And I love that woman so much. It has to
Yes.
be Elvira. I was gonna go
Yeah.
with the first horror I'd ever watched because it was a female doll, which was
Mhm.
Tully Dearest, and I was like, no, let's just keep that name out of it. But yeah, it has to be the Mistress of the Dark. How could I not? I've got a vampire
Yeah.
t-shirt on.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, definitely Elvira, Mistress of the Dark for me at a very young age.
Yeah. Excellent. How young is this? Is Elvira really appropriate for children?
Nothing I watched at that time was appropriate for children. So it was the early 90s. I was so young when I found her. She was a friend, my friend. I've talked about my friend a lot, who got us all to watch, the most unusual horror movies, and Elvira was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just instantly fell in love with her, and I always have done. And if you get a chance to read her autobiography, I highly recommend it.
I
Which
would love to
apparently,
read it.
rumor has it, and this only just happened recently, could potentially be a documentary coming out
Ooh,
ooh, that would
based
be
on her
good.
life.
That would be
Yes,
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
it would be so interesting because her book is just a minefield of her career and how she's made it over these, like, God knows how many years, from Vegas showgirl to B movie horror host to just being Elvira.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the people that just met along the way as well as some pretty huge names in there.
Massive names, massive names, massive
Massive names.
stories, hospital visits.
Mhm.
What else? Oh, and our friendship with Paul Rubens, which obviously hits a
Yeah.
massive note with me as well because I'm a
Yeah.
huge Paul Rubens fan. So yeah, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira.
Oh, I do love Elvira. And I think she's like, you know, maybe it's not so much people call her a heroine, but I genuinely think that she is. She's a lot of people's heroines. Sometimes all you need to like there's a bit of a laugh and some comfort, and I think, you know, Elvira has her own way of providing that.
Yeah. What's wrong with having a good set of boobs and some legs to follow? Like,
And
it's
there you go. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow, as the song says.
Very much.
yes.
And what a bosom.
And it's all real.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fakery about them. No,
No.
she's managed to, it's not been a case of her sexuality as put her in the place that she is. She's just used it to her best advantage.
Yeah.
She explains it beautifully in the book. Go and read the book. I'd pull it out, but I worry that all my other books are just going to follow behind it. So go and read Elvira's book.
I might put that on my Christmas list.
Please do, Sarah. Honestly, it is such a good read. She has such an interesting life. Like, there's a reason her dress is the way that it is because it hides all her scars.
Mm-hmm.
Because she got severely burnt as a child and she has scars like covering nearly 70% of her body. So her dress is fitted to hide everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's honestly, read the book.
Read the book. Read the
Read the
book.
book.
This week's episode is sponsored by Elvira's autobiography.
Read the book.
Okay. Eee.
We will read it, Sammie, I promise.
I think we've got no choice.
Yeah.
I
Becca,
mean,
how
our
about
friendships
you?
are on the line for it, mind. I'm just saying.
Yeah, mine. Mine is I would say a woman similar in style. See, I got into horror, but my horror was kind of a little bit softer. It was a little bit more gothic, and obviously, I really, really, as a child, loved the Addams Family. You know, from the 1960s, and I love Caroline Jones, who played Morticia. She was just so sophisticated, but there was like a touch of the macabre about her. Obviously she played Morticia in the 1960s show, but she didn't just do that. She was in like other films, and what I liked about her is you didn't know her from one role to the other because of how well she crafted these characters. Like, you, to the point that we were having a discussion before this, and I was like, is Addams Family horror? And we were like, oh yeah. And I said who it was, and I didn't realise that she's in, was it House of 100 Corpse? Is that the one?
House of Wax.
1,000? Is
House
it
of
1,000 or
Wax.
10,000?
House of
No,
Wax.
she was very much dead
All
by
right.
the time House of a Thousand Corpses
Yeah.
came out. But yeah, House of Wax.
I
And the
didn't
only way you can
realise.
tell it's her, because she's got a blonde bob, her waist is tiny.
Yes.
It's the eyes.
Yeah,
Her
and that
eyes
is
give her away
that is
straight away.
100% what I was going to say. There was just something so fascinating about this woman, and I, as a child, was just absolutely enchanted by not only this character, by this actress. And obviously, I love the Addams Family. Anyone who ever listens to me knows that I love Wednesday. I love Addams Family values, but this portrayal by Caroline Jones was just amazing, and I literally, it's one of the first things that got me into horror. So yeah, I love this actress, and I'm definitely going to be watching the House of Wax now that I know she's in it, because I didn't realise.
Yeah, she's in that. She's also in Invader of the Body Snatchers. She's in The Man Who Knew Too Much, an Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
So she's done her fair share
Of
of
horror.
horror and thriller mystery kind of thing,
Yeah.
but House of Wax is pure on horror.
Yeah.
I would say anyway.
Yeah. I just love her, and I didn't realize until I was doing research just how many roles that she had in horror, and just because of just how different she looks from each role to the other. I got photos up and I was like, nah, that's not her. That's not her. No, it is. It is her.
And you know who she was married to?
No.
Aaron Spelling. Yes. Not for long, mind. She had a couple of marriages behind her belt, but he was one of them. Yeah, he was one of them. I always thought, because she died in 1983.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, when in 1983? Because obviously I'm born in 1983, Sarah was born in 1983. We're just out. August 3rd, she died.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, am I like a reincarnation of Caroline Jones? That'd be amazing. It's the eyes. It's just, them eyes are absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
And her portrayal of Morticia is legendary.
It
I
is.
love I love Angelica Houston and what she did with it, and even
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, what she's done with the character.
Yes.
But nobody can just, for some reason, that elegance, that beauty
It's the
comes
kooky.
so much from her.
It's the kookiness around this thing. I've got it on. I've actually got the episodes. I've got the whole series, and I was trying to compare her and Lily Munster, and I was like, they are just so fascinated. That time
Mhm.
for this style of horror, I love it.
Yeah, I was just looking, and I'm not going to pull it out because then again it means moving other stuff. But I have the full collection right here of the Munsters.
Yeah,
See, the Munsters, I love the Addams Family, but the Munsters was more my thing.
yeah,
And but it wasn't for Lily. It wasn't. Lily is amazing, and I love the look of her and how she is, and the mother that she was, and how
yeah,
well she took care of her family. But it will always be Fred Gwynne for me,
yeah.
and his portrayal of Herman Munster.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I fully understand that one. But yeah, Morticia, I love this character and I just love that portrayal. What about you, Sarah? What's your one?
Well, it's funny you should say that. For me, the earliest one I remember is Lily Munster. Um,
Oh.
I've got vague recollections of like my granddad watching like some of the Universal or Hammer horrors like when I was around, but I don't really recall many of like the female characters or actresses being prominent for me at the time. So I don't know if it's just that he didn't watch those ones or I just don't remember them. But he did also used to watch a lot of the Munsters, and Lily was obviously the main one there for me as a female character. And she really stood out. I mean, played by the wonderful Yvonne De Carlo, a glam, ghoulish wife of like a monster family. Of course, she's going to stand out. But
I don't like seeing her in colour though.
the color was a bit weird. I prefer it in black and
Yeah,
white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it kind of like it's a bit more than just like I mean the monsters brings back memories of sitting watching it with my granddad. Kind of that's where it's stuck in my
Oh,
head. Um, but
oh,
yeah,
that's sweet.
she's the one that stands out for me, like from the horror genre. I mean, you'll find out during this episode that I am not a big horror fan. So I don't have a lot that I can actually offer. But
So
but
we'll
there
take
are
it.
so I do have a couple. I do have a couple though. I mean, again, I didn't, funnily enough, even though I watched the monsters, I didn't see a lot of the early Adams Family ones. So the Adams Family for me was Raul Julian,
Mm.
Angelica Houston.
yeah.
That was the Adams Family for me. So it's kind of like it was a toss up between Lily Munster and Morticia for me as well. But I think Morticia came quite a bit later because I mean that was the early 90s, and I vaguely remember watching the Munsters in the late 80s.
Yeah, the Munsters, the Addams Family, I Dream of Jeannie,
Hmm.
Bewitched, they were all somewhere in on Channel 4 at some
Yeah,
point.
Yeah,
yeah.
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 That's where I remember watching them.
Yeah. I did honestly I do love the Addams Family, but the Munsters always were more catchier for me. And it has the
Yeah.
greatest intro.
It does, and I've actually got the monsters. I don't know if you guys remember it when they first brought it out on DVD. They had it in like a coffin shaped DVD
Yes.
case. Have you got it too?
I haven't got it, but I do
Yeah,
remember it coming out.
we've both
That's
got
it.
it. Yeah, that's it. I've got it as
Yes.
well.
Yes, I have recently just purchased this. This is my second buy of the Munsters. I originally had it just on a, and bought it for my 30th birthday. And when we had a massive clear out of DVDs, that went for quite a bit of money. So
Nice.
I got rid of it. And then now I'm kind of living in regret.
Mm.
Like, so I repurchased. That's pretty dusty. I repurchased it recently from eBay. I think it was less than £20.
That's not too bad because I
I,
paid about £13 when it first came out.
I think that was like postage and packaging as well.
Yeah,
But I'm starting to try and piece me collection back together, and I'm talking just like collectible ones. Like I had
yeah,
the Friday the third no, yeah, the Friday the 13th. I used to have in a collectible box and the Halloween ones. And the only one I've managed to get back at a really decent price was the Nightmare on Elm Street, the red box
Yeah.
collection. I know as of the last few weeks, a more beautiful Blu-ray one has just come out. But my sister bought me that collection years ago, so I had to get back that one,
Yeah.
even though I'm not a fan of Mr. Krueger.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I'm trying to be. I really am trying. But yeah, my sister got us that. But yes, I love that. I had to get that like
Yeah.
the it's not a coffin. It's a gravestone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yes, and it makes out Herman Munster inside.
Yeah.
He's on the DVD
Yeah.
cases. Oh, sorry. It's always if ever I think of Fred Green, I always think of Pet Sematary. Sometimes death is better. That's my impression.
That's a short.
Yes. I have to be careful what I say. These women know how to cut and paste shit.
We're not top
No.
bumps. We do it classily.
Yeah,
that's
we-
true.
the only time we cut is if one of us has to go to the loo.
Oh, okay. Wow, how things have changed.
We've always tried to do it that way, though. We always try to have one long cut.
But yeah, that was a good choice. Good choices. I like them.
Cool. Right. However, then here comes the big one. Who do you
Oh.
love from horror? Anyone you can choose. Let's do some favorites.
Well,
Ooh.
I've gone down a little list of the traditional route of your Jamie Lees and your Laurie Strode and your Neve Campbell's, Sydney Prescott kind of. I've gone older,
Ooh.
much older.
Okay.
So I'm happy to kick things off if
Go
you
for
are
it.
happy
Go
for me to
for
do
it.
Go for
that.
it.
I'm still intrigued.
I'm excited to hear what you've got, Sammie.
I have three that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
So as long as I get them three out, I will be a happy buddy. One of them that I will, if I ever get a chance to talk about this person, I will do it. And I will do it in capacity as well. So, but my first one is the actress from Dracula. Her name is Helen Chandler. Now, Helen Chandler was born on the 1st of February 1906 and died on the 30th of April 1965. And she was part of the, it's called the pre-code vampire film because this is before any form of ratings, whatnot came in. Directed and co-produced by Todd Browning. And she played Mina Stewart in Dracula alongside Bela Lugosi. And what makes Helen really interesting is her story that is more recent. Obviously, her performance in Dracula is absolutely legendary. If you are a Dracula fan, she was the highest paid cast member in that movie.
Wow.
Okay.
So a movie that was made in the 1920s, a woman was getting the most money. But she did have a history with alcoholism, which pretty much kind of it didn't help. It didn't help her health, and she died in 1965. Now she was cremated. This was her wishes. She was cremated, and all she wanted was to be put in a private vault. Nobody to see her until 2023. When a very popular YouTube channel, who I absolutely adore, Hollywood Graveyard, run by Arthur Dark. I absolutely love this. I fall asleep to this YouTube channel because it's so, the music in it is fantastic. His composer Giuseppe does this absolutely beautiful score while he's telling all these lovely stories of all these very dead people who have been gone for so long. But she was found, so Arthur was doing the archives for Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and he was in the vaults. Now these are vaults, God, they are huge. There's about 8 of them, and there is just people in there. It's either people's request or the fact that they had no money. They were just stored in these vaults, and she was found. And he hated the idea that this legendary actress from this amazing horror movie, probably one of the first, it is Universal's first. No, it's not. First big, I would say. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from Lon Chaney and his work, but I would say production wise, probably one of the biggest ones originally. And he didn't like the idea that she was sitting in there. So he got in contact with her living family and said, how would you feel if I was to put together a fundraiser to take Helen out of there and put her in her own, what do you call them?
Like mausoleum?
Plot?
Or...
No, a mausoleum's a big one. This is just more like a cabinet.
Okay.
Like a glass front cabinet, but it does
Right.
have a name and I can't think of what it is. Oh no. No. She's not. It's in a cabinet. Sorry. The place that she's in is the Cathedral Mausoleum at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. That's what she's called, but it is more like a cabinet. And there's a few people, and I've got another story to do with something very similar with another actress. But yeah, she was found out of the vault. Arthur raised the money along with her family's blessings, and as of 2023, my birthday on 2023, she
Oh.
had a full ceremony. They had a full service. She was brought out in an urn by a what do you call them, like an undertaker came, walked
Mhm.
her up to her new resting place. They had a plaque. They had a beautiful photograph of her from when she was in Dracula, and she has her own little place in this so people can go and pay their respects.
Oh.
That's
So
so
yeah,
nice. Mhm.
I had to choose Helen Chandler, not just to tell that story, because I love stories like that. There's a lot of people out there who will go and find these celebrities who potentially didn't have the money in order to pay for their own stones or stuff like that. And they're in unmarked graves. They will raise money to get these people the marker that they believe they deserve.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, she was pulled out of the vault. In that vault, the it's not it's not Fred Gwynn, but his name is Gwen, and I keep getting them mixed up with the guy who plays Herman Munster. You know the actor who played Miracle on 34th Street, Santa Claus, the
Yes.
original
Right, okay.
him.
Yeah.
He actually did go missing in the vaults. He wasn't ready. They knew he was in there, but they didn't know that he wasn't categorized. So when Arthur went in, he was going in and doing all the archives again, and they really could not. They couldn't find him. He'd been missing for years and years and years until the woman he was doing the archives with found his box. He now has his own place within the Cathedral Mausoleum at Hollywood Forever Studios. So they have him. He's been found, which was yeah. I love stuff like that. But
It's
Helen
so
Chandler was.
fascinating.
I love it. I love it. And any way to be able to mix the two and talk about it, I will do that. But yeah, had to pick Helen Chandler. She was, when it comes, if you look at lists of horror actresses from when movies started, Helen Chandler's name is right at the top
Yeah.
because of Dracula.
Yeah.
So that was my first pick.
Nice. That's a really good pick, that. It's a I'm well
You'll,
overdue going back to back Dracula.
oh,
I've
you'll see a common theme with mine then after that.
How about you, Becca? Who's your first pick?
Okay, my first one is an actress called Galen Ross, who is best known for her role in Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Um, she only appeared in a few films, but Ross's sort of made a lasting impression of Francine, one of the most capable survivors in Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's zombie classic film. But what makes her stand out is the fact that she was just so different from the first film. And Barbara, who we won't get me started on that because that'll be just a whole different rant. But just how different she was. She was a TV producer. She went on a whole journey in the in this timeline of Dawn of the Dead. To the fact that she was able to fly the helicopter, she was able to shoot, and just the fact that Galen Ross's performance of this typical horror trope that it was in the 70s and how she turned it around. I just love it. And the fact that this actress is she's just so fascinating. You know, this was pretty much one of her final roles, and afterwards she kind of stepped away from sort of appearing in front of the camera, and she moved behind, and she directed documentaries under her real name, including Killing Kazana and Dealer Among Dealers. And they've both been sort of really highly praised for their just taking stories and taking things that are less than, how to describe it, they're not very good subjects, but she's kind of given them a humanity approach. And I love how this actress works, and just, it might have started in a shopping mall, but her career just came something sort of some real world storytelling. And I love her performance, and the fact that even in the 2004 edition they wanted to honor this actress. Sort of, they made one of the shops in the mall that obviously the survivors go into in 2004. It's named after her, because they couldn't actually find her to have a performance in this role, because a lot of the actors from that movie did, but because they couldn't find her, they brought in, you know, her name appears several times along the film. And so yeah, that's my one. And I love this actress. I just find her role really fascinating, because she's the first person that we see in the film, and the last person. And anyone who watches zombie films or anything should go and watch this film, because you can actually get it on YouTube, so you don't need to pay for money. Yeah.
Watch it.
Yes.
It's the best. I love a zombie film, but Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorites.
Yes.
She is, yeah, her performance in that is not atypical of a horror actress at the time,
No,
especially
not at all.
especially where we're going to head into. If you think about it, it comes out in the 70s, and then you've got the 80s,
Yeah.
and the horror actress changes quite a bit.
Yes.
So to have her there, and then piercing eyes of hers, yeah, it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
I do love her performance. She stands out and up against her male counterparts
Yes.
quite a bit in it.
She goes, it's just the fact that she goes from, we're so used to in George Romero's films of having Barbara, you know, she very much starts as the Barbara character in it. You know, she's capable. She, you know, she's a movie producer, but she kind of quickly sort of, I don't want to say collapses into despair, but she kind of has that moment where they're in the mall and she can't cope, and then she kind of figures it out and kind of moves forward.
She finds out she's pregnant, doesn't she?
Yes.
And for me, I always thought that she finally realized that it wasn't just about her anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where she kind of picks herself up from.
Yeah.
That's how I got. That's the impression I got.
Because there's that moment after, obviously, when they're in the mall and they're obviously trying to lock the doors and they're bringing the lorries over. She has that moment, and then after that moment where she successfully shoots the zombies on the rooftops. She's sick in one of the next scenes. Obviously, she has morning sickness, and she tells her partner to leave her alone. And I feel like that is kind of her kind of gathering herself, and yeah. So I can see that. Yeah.
It is a good. George Romero never does these women dirty.
No.
I didn't think anyway.
No, I think Barbara is a bit. It's a different time. And, you know, a decade later, it's a very, very different. Women are perceived very differently. Yeah. So, yeah. Galen Ross, I would highly recommend. And if you can find her documentaries, they are fascinating as well. What about you, Sarah?
Nice. Well, I'm going to go for an author first. I've mentioned her before many times in podcasts that we've done and on the main podcast. But I'm going with Anne Rice. Big heroine of Gothic horror for me. I've read so many of the vampire books, you know, the Mayfair Witches books and things like that. I mean, she lived it too. I mean, her house and style really went into the full Gothic. And I just loved it. It was like kind of you could see her living in the books, like as
Yeah.
she was imagining the scenes and the houses in the books and things like that. Um, the books themselves look really intimidating, but I found that once I started, it didn't seem to take very long to read, like 6, 7, 8 books at all. I was completely taken in by her characters, the depth that they had, the backstories were so like they were detailed, and there wasn't any question about who this character was and why they made a decision. Well, you could go, oh well, they've been brought up that way, they've done this, this, and this in the past, therefore that makes sense for that decision to be made. Um, the atmosphere generated, the first vampire was female as well, which I mean, Akash is an icon in Anne Rice's world. And I'm
Yeah, I
excited to
forgot about her.
yeah, I'm excited to see her come back to the TV show soon as well. That's been recently announced.
Yeah.
Um, Also how much that the how much respect she was shown for the world she'd created, that they got her involved in like behind the scenes in the movie and in the TV show, the more recent TV show. Because I remember I followed Anne on her socials for a long, long time, and I remember in the early stages of planning, she wanted to try and get together the idea of what Lestat is in her head out to the public. So she was starting to ask the fans, the people out there, to recommend her actors to play him based on like certain sets of rules that she had put forward, including she wanted like the lesser known ones, she wanted the unknown ones to come forward. She didn't want
Okay.
anything like to massively impact on how we saw this person. She wanted a completely blank slate for somebody to bring Lestat to life. Um,
Mhm.
I remember it all happening actually, and there were like hundreds of thousands of names, and honestly, I can't even think of them off the top of my head, but I remember the comments on this were massive, and she was very, very regular with her updates on Facebook and that as well. And the balls, of course, the masquerade balls and the vampire balls that she used to have
Yeah.
almost every
Still,
year.
still go on today.
They still go on. Yeah, her son took over the socials, and he
Hmm.
still likes to do them. But oh God, I would have loved to have gone to one of them.
I would have back in my heyday. Anne Rice is a big one for me. Now, I have made this very clear from a long time. I am not a vampire fan.
Hmm.
But when I was in the early era of my goth days, I was. And
Hmm.
Anne Rice was a massive contributor to that. Interview with the Vampire is one of the first books I read. And obviously, I'd seen the film. I think she wrote the screenplay for it. I could be completely wrong, but I'm
If not, she
sure
was
she had
heavily
something to do with
involved.
it. She
I,
definitely had something to do
Yeah.
because
mhm,
it is very, very close
mhm.
to the book. Incredibly close. There was just one tiny little difference, and I remember being on a bus reading it, and that happened when they're in the theater de Vampire,
Mhm.
and it is actually confirmed who. I'm going to talk really northern here. Who grassed Claudia up
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
killing Lestat? And it's revealed who it was, and that didn't happen in the movie. And I
it
just
did
went,
not.
I nearly threw the book across the bus. I was like, oh,
I can imagine it. I can imagine it.
oh my
Mhm.
gosh, oh my god. But yeah, I loved her books. Interview with the Vampire. Queen of the Damned was one of the hardest books I have ever read, and I tried to read it. I am not saying Anne Rice is a difficult reader to like a difficult writer to read at all.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of moving parts in that, and I found it difficult to keep up with all of it. My favorite out of her books was Pandora.
Yes, I did like it. I did like Pandora.
Pandora and Amand. I love the story of
Mm.
Amand and the sun. But yeah, I had this huge, massive love affair with Anne Rice in my early goth days, and then realized vampires are just not for me. Like, don't get us wrong, I love John Carpenter's vampires, but that's for a whole different,
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
A lot of lot of leather and denim in that. But yeah, I get it. I get. And I think because we're all at a certain age, we all would probably understand it. And she's having like a resurgence, isn't
Yeah.
she? Like
Yes.
the Interview with the Vampire, the TV show that's
I
going on at the moment.
love that
My,
show.
I tried. I'm sorry, I can't do it. My sister screams at me to watch it. She even did it on the Nerdy Up North Facebook group in front of everyone. Screaming at me to watch this. And there's also the one on Netflix. You've just said the name not long ago. The Witches one.
Which is a big
Called the
switch.
Mayfair Witches.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sure that's on Netflix at the minute.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It
she's
is.
still like, when did she die?
Oh my, it's a few years
2020,
now.
2021. Was it 2021?
It's been a few years.
She died in
Um,
2021.
yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh, okay. Honestly thought it was a lot
December
longer than that.
2021.
I thought it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was pre-COVID.
I honestly thought it was a lot longer than that. But for still, like, she was 80-year-old. That is a good age. I would be happy with that. Um, oh my gosh, and Stan died in 2002. That's possibly where I'm getting it.
Yeah, a lot of the books were after that were dedicated to Stan. I mean, a lot of
Oh,
them were
her
dedicated to
Stan.
Stan anyway, but
Well, wasn't
um,
Interview with the Vampire written on the back of her daughter's death?
I believe so, yes.
Oh my gosh, she's had so much grief. Um, but yeah, I do. I have a lot of love and time for Anne Rice.
Yes. I do. It's like I do. I really miss that because obviously it's kind of like come to the point where it was I'm coming to realize that there are going to be no more. And of
Yeah.
course I've got something in common with her as well because she was a type 1 diabetic as well.
Oh, okay. I've got her Wikipedia page up, and her influences I totally get. I really do
Mm.
get. Charles Dickens, Virginia Woolf, John Milton, Ernest Hemingway, Shakespeare, the Bronte sisters, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the mixture.
You can see
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
but you can, because she did the whole Victorian Gothic, which
yeah.
really is a lot of Dickens in there. Hemingway with the romanticizing
Yeah.
and the beauty of it. Shakespeare with the elegance. Like, I can really, Bronte sisters, I'm not really familiar, but I can just imagine elegant.
The dark gothic of Wuthering Heights
Yeah.
especially.
That's it.
Hmm.
I'll not show myself up again. Honestly, yeah, I can see where her influences come from. And to even be able to cite them as well, like she said,
Hmm.
Firestarter was one of her biggest influences. Like, that's quite, it's quite a nice. A lot of other people would, cite these big writers, like
Hmm.
especially when you consider, or I would consider her just to be among them as well.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
Especially
mean?
if she's like
she has
mentioning
a well-deserved place.
like Stephen King. He's
Hmm.
here. He is one of her peers. She could speak to
Hmm.
Hmm.
him. So for her to
Hmm.
cite him, yeah, it says a lot about her character.
Yeah. Oh, I do miss her now. No, I never normally think about her. Oh,
I'm
thanks,
sorry, but
Sarah. You've just bummed us out.
I think she very, very much deserved
I,
the shout out though.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I think
She's
it would have been a
probably the
travesty.
main, as I've said, I'm not a big horror fan, but I think that's the closest I get to like even reading horror really. Obviously she definitely has the horror side of things in there, but
I used to have all the books and I got rid of them
oh
because
no,
I'm just.
I'm looking at them now. I can see them all on the shelf
What
there.
aren't you looking at the
What
minute?
aren't I looking at? Well, I've got children running around my feet, so I do apologize for any listeners who can hear them. Um, and that's why I keep looking off as well. But
Oh,
yes,
that's a
right.
good choice.
Sammie, should we have your next pick?
Right. Okay, so this is probably one of the biggest icons in horror. Today, tomorrow, yesterday. The woman's image will never not be associated with horror. She is one of the most beautiful creatures ever. Elsa Lancaster, the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes.
I'd
What
have
an
been
image.
disappointed if you didn't pick that one.
Yeah.
I'd have been furious with myself, but there is an alternative motive for me picking her because there is recent news on Elsa. So when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, because I do have an honorary mention of Evelyn Ankers, who is in The Wolfman. And I was like, there's two I really want to talk about. So if I need to downsize it, Elsa Lancaster and my next one are the ones I really want to talk about. And I just wanted to tell the story of Helen as well. But yeah, Elsa, she is iconically the image of horror. Horror beauty is Elsa Lancaster, who is Katie Nana in Mary Poppins, by the way.
I
Just
Yeah.
cannot wrap my head around that.
but Elsa, I've got so many notes on Elsa because she had the most interesting time doing this. She suffered for her art. That look that you see, that face, isn't done with just MAC makeup. It is done with wires, a lot of wires. Her face is completely pulled up off her, and this is something that I learned when I did the Wizard of Oz episode for the Nerdy Up North podcast. Tape sometimes just didn't cut it, and poor Billy Burke as Glinda, the witch of the whatever, she had to have her neck pulled back with wires. Yeah, they did the same with Elsa's face, pulled it back with wires. Her hair was so heavy.
I can imagine.
So heavy. But what really interests us, if we did the Bride of Frankenstein on the Monsters Up North podcast in our first season, our first year, and there's so much that I forgot about her life. Like she came from such a strict background. Like the life she lived should never have been something that she should ever have had if her mother had anything to do with it. She was married to a man called Charles Lautner. And I don't know if any of you recognize the name. He is a celebrated actor in his own right. But this possibly was a marriage of convenience because Charles Lautner was homosexual, very well known, but clearly could not come out in the way that you would find people doing it today.
Yeah.
So to hide it and to keep his career intact, I believe they got married as a marriage of convenience. And it was a big, massive scandal. Like the amount of times that she had to go in and try and defend her husband and to try and keep his secret safe. The couple didn't end up having any children, and that became a topic of conversation throughout Hollywood gossip as well. Why are they not having? Because it became like an A-list couple, and why are they not having children? And apparently, another story came out about her that she'd had a botched abortion, and that's why. And then another person who thought she might have thought she was doing them a favor by doing this is saying, well, no, they're not having children because he's clearly homosexual. Let's just take away from that story, but bring that one into it as well. So her personal life was a subject of conversation constantly, but it does not take away from the fact of that performance she gives in The Bride of Frankenstein. She barely says anything. There's only at the beginning when she is, I don't know if he's can hear Loki, I'm so sorry.
No.
You can't, okay. He's just whining in the background. She's in it at the beginning as herself, and then obviously the dead one later on. And all she does is she hisses. She hisses because she didn't quite know how would somebody who was dead respond to this monster. And she thought of swans.
It
So what you
works.
get is the hissing of swans, like, get away, get away. So I mentioned that there's news. So Elsa Lancaster died in December 26, 1986. No, December 26, 1986, at the age of 84. She was cremated on the 5th of January 1987 at the Chapel of Pines in Los Angeles, and her ashes were scattered across the Pacific Ocean. However, as of this week, as of October 10th, a press release has been done by Scott Michaels, who is the owner of Dearly Departed. He once used to own the Museum of Death in Los Angeles. He used to do the tours for, oh God, Dan's been on loads of them, but mainly his famous one was Helter Skelter. Scott's been Scott's, if you are looking for anything death-wise in Hollywood, Scott's probably been there, done that, and got a YouTube channel, and I love his YouTube channel. He is the ex-partner of Graham Norton.
All right.
Oh, okay. I know who you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is his press release. For immediate release, October 10th, 2025, Elsa Lancaster, the Bride of Frankenstein, finally gets a grave marker unveiled in North Hollywood, California. On October 28th, the occasion of her 123rd birthday, just a few days before Halloween, the beloved Bride of Frankenstein herself, Elsa Lancaster, will finally receive a long overdue graveside marker nearly 40 years after her death. Fans will now have a place to pay their respects for one of classic Hollywood's most iconic and memorable actresses.
Wow.
Oh, and then he's got the Bride of Charles Lawton. Okay. I would have just gone with the Bride of Frankenstein, but yeah, she
The
is going
Bride.
to. I have his whole press release here. After her death, Lancaster's resting place remained anonymous and unmarked until now. Until they now are going to release it on her 123rd birthday. And that literally has just happened in the
Yeah.
last few days.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I knew
Breaking news.
I knew there was I knew it was her birthday coming up because I did a post last year to mark it, and I knew when she died, she was cremated and scattered. So you normally like Boris Karloff is the same. He's scattered, but he has a marker in his hometown.
Okay.
But yeah, I just thought, what can I hear? Oh my gosh, I just heard something really
Yeah,
weird in
no,
my
I did as
headphones.
well.
Oh, okay. Are we being haunted here?
Would be apt.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bride of Frankenstein, absolutely iconic imagery in horror. The movie itself is absolutely fantastic. Just to do a cheeky plug, we did an episode on Monsters Up North.
I'll put the link
You can go
below.
you can go
Yeah.
and check it out. To be honest, there's a few that I could have said, yeah, we did an episode on that, done one on that. You mentioned an actress earlier, Kelly, can't think of her surname. Last week's episode that we did, she's in that. But yeah, Bride of Frankenstein, and I wanted to mention Elsa's marker as well because she's absolutely phenomenal, and there's so much that I've missed out. So that's why I'm saying go and watch the episode. There's much more in there. To be honest, when we did it, we were so worried because there's the scandally part of her life, but if you're trying to kind of mix that with the film, it didn't quite work, and we didn't have quite a lot of information to go off. But we went for longer than I actually thought we would talking about her because she is such a fascinating, and to think that this beautiful creature then turns out to be Katie Nana in Mary Poppins,
know.
completely unrecognizable. But go and have a look at her when she was before. I don't know. I don't want to say she was in vaudeville. I think she was more in theatre. Yes, she was in theatre. Go and look at her theatre photos. Oh my God. She is absolutely beautiful. I mean, don't get us wrong, I'm not saying she's not beautiful as Katie. Nana is just completely very different and quite unrecognizable if you are trying to think of the bride and her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elsa Lancaster, love her.
Nice. Nice. I wonder if she's a far-flung relative. My granddad was a Lancaster.
Oh, she's from England. I don't know where from England, probably down south. Elsa Lancaster, hang on.
Not that I'm saying
Trust
that there's not a million Lancasters out there, but you never know. We never did
you.
the Lancaster side of the family tree.
She's from Lewisham. There you go.
Possible. Lewisham. Right.
Yep. She's from Lewisham. And don't get us wrong, she had a Bride of Frankenstein is not the only thing that she did. She has a plethora, and obviously Mary Poppins, she has a plethora of movies, musicals. This woman had a career. She worked in the theatre during World War One. You know, it's just I just had to mention her.
Yeah. Completely understandable. Yeah.
But yeah, that's mine. That's my second pick.
Yeah.
Is Elsa Lancaster.
Okay. My
You're
second
next.
my second pick is a bit of an unusual one, but it probably won't surprise anyone. And it is the lady who appears in the Thriller music video, Ola Ray.
Oh, right.
Because anytime anyone thinks of the Thriller film, they think of this iconic character. And this lady has haunted me since I was far too young to watch this music video.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I don't want to say she's the archetype of the girlfriend, but her performance in the Thriller music video it's just iconic. It's the role that she is most known for. You know, she was in other roles. She was in Body, she was in Soul, 48 Hours. She was in small roles. But it's Thriller that she's best known for. And for anyone who has never doesn't understand the Thriller music video, it was directed by John Landis and it was released in 1983. It's basically structured like a mini horror movie, but it's a love letter to 1950s creature features and the zombie flicks. It's just amazing. But Ola, she is the classic horror heroine, you know, and I love this music video. I think for the fact that it's practically a mini movie in itself. It's 14 minutes. It's one of the, I think if it's not the longest music video, it's up there. But it's just such an iconic one. You know, she's Michael Jackson's wholesome date, and then obviously he turns into the weird cat, and she screams and runs, but she isn't. I don't feel like she's helpless in this film, and I just love how much she brings to this role, and I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to research her because I haven't thought about her properly as Ola in years. And it was when we were talking about this and I was like, okay, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to bring something different, and I was like, I'm gonna have to research this music video. And yes, she's often underestimated because she's overshadowed by Michael Jackson and the choreography of this video. But she brings the emotional tone to it, and I just love it. You know, she's the mortal in the supernatural world, and I love it. You know, a Thriller for me, yes, it was my gateway into all things zombie. But this character, she just kind of brought alive almost like a gothic romance in a pop package, and it's I didn't realize just how much it shaped me until I've rewatched it recently. I just didn't realize how much it shaped me, and I love it. I love this character and her. I just wish she got more recognition.
Yeah, because if you go on Wikipedia, she's not even mentioned.
No.
Wow.
No.
That's crazy. We can mention who directed it.
Yeah.
Who said that? But yeah, Thriller, that's such a wow, okay.
That's a really interesting pick.
Yeah, I never would have
music
suspected.
video I wouldn't have even considered.
No.
No.
You are so right though. It's probably a gateway into every any kind of horror element really, because it covers everything.
It really does.
It really does. And I know I am not the biggest fan of the directors, but I have to appreciate what he did for this. And also, it's got Vincent Price in it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Wins.
Yeah.
Winner straight away. And he did it in one take. And he remembered the words years later to be able to recite it from memory. That's how good he is.
I did see a clip of him doing that years later.
Yeah, we were on the talk show, and he's but bearing in mind he did that in one take. He's a one take wonder. But Michael Jackson was a huge horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's but also I love this, and I do like his Ghosts. Is it Ghosts? It's another one he did, kind of like big movie video.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's Ghosts.
I think it's Ghost. Also, fun fact: I've seen him live.
Oh wow,
That's a true story. I saw him at his history tour in Sheffield.
nice. That was quite a performance. Performance and a half.
It's the only show I can remember from start to finish.
Wow.
It just will not leave my memory box at all. It is etched in there. I also remember the person who tried to climb me back when Billie Jean was being played. That was fun because I was right at the front. So, because I went with my friend and her mum, and every 2 minutes, a mum would shuffle us forward and then go off to the side for a cigarette. What she didn't know is while she was doing that, we were having one in the actual crowd. I was about 13, 14 at the time. And then she would keep doing it. She would keep moving us a little bit further forward, going to have a cigarette, and then we would do exactly the same. And then we eventually got to the front. It's one of the best shows I have ever been to in my life, and I've seen him sing Thriller live, but I can't believe you picked her.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like her outfit, honestly, the outfits that she wears, going from the 50s kind of, schoolgirl pleated skirt,
the Sandra D look, isn't it?
That's it. That is that's the nail, and that is Sandra D. And then going with that pullback hair. Does she wear leather? Is it like a leather or a pleather? Whatever it is, she looks absolutely stunning. But to have one of the most iconic reveals in music history, it's her face that you see first before you see him.
Yeah. And I thought she deserved a little bit of recognition, and the fact that she was my gateway into zombie films. So thank you.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I like that.
Not that it's a game that we pick the unusual ones, but I just wanted something different.
Well, this is it. I could have gone down the easy route of all of the most famous horror, because there's so many, because obviously women play a huge part in horror. Regardless, there's a lot of arguments when it comes down to, rightly or wrongly, why we are here for.
Yeah.
You can't deny that there is some iconic horror heroines everywhere in horror. They are dashed around everywhere, but I didn't want to stick to. I wanted to go down the route that I love.
Yeah.
The old ones, the dead ones, so I can tell death stories.
It wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have you on it and it be involved in death. So it's fine.
That's true.
We like that.
That's true. Yeah, I did it to Paul the other day. I texted him, and it was oh, did you know, this is just a random text. So did you know it was 22 years ago Christopher Reeves died? And he went, I haven't had a death fact in ages. I was like, I know. What's happening to us?
Wow.
So thank you for entertaining me with that.
What about you?
Yes, that was such a good choice.
Thank you.
That was a really great choice. Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
Mine's not nearly as unique or anything like that, but a one that a lady that was in a lot of movies that I had seen. Again, not full on horror, but definitely a start, like what I would call like light horror. I'm going with Winona Ryder.
Oh,
because she's got like Beetlejuice under her belt, she's got Edward Scissorhands under her belt, she's got the 1992 Dracula under her belt.
Oh, the least to say about that.
Well, it is one of my favorite Draculas for the portrayal that Gary Oldman gives in it.
Give you that.
Gary Oldman is my favorite Dracula because of that performance. The movie could have been improved in a lot of ways. but that's what takes that movie for me.
Yeah,
But yes, Winona really is a gothic queen.
she is.
And especially with like the the hugeness of what Stranger Things has become as well.
Jesus.
Um, she's just I just think she's amazing because like, you know,
Did we think that we would get a resurgence of Winona Ryder the way that we did when Stranger Things
no,
came out?
Not at all.
no, I didn't. Not
Plot
at all.
twist.
And I'm so glad it's
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, me too. I was
Um,
so happy for her when because if
mhm,
you remember, she had such a bad spell leading up to that, like
yeah,
the shoplifting debacle and
hmm
whatnot, and being completely almost blacklisted from Hollywood. You
yeah.
never saw her, and then boom, Stranger Things.
It's just like I'm so glad that Stranger Things took that chance on having Winona
Yeah,
Ryder in. Um,
I think it was a chance as well. I don't think it
yeah.
was something that they took lightly. But
hmm
I love the fact that she wrote in a contract, if Beetlejuice 2 ever comes up, I have to leave set. I have to
Yeah.
go and film it. And that was in her Stranger Thing contract. And I think the
Amazing.
Duffer Brothers were okay to do it because they were like, that ain't ever gonna happen.
Yeah. And that's another plot twist.
Famous last words.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things that I'm gonna put Winona in a dual cast with Mina Harkness there. Because I mean, I accept Mina isn't the best example of heroines, because it wasn't for Victorian women to be out there and boisterous and stuff like that. And to be honest, I don't think Mina was really boisterous or anything. She was shown as quite passive most of the time, and that she needed to be rescued and things. She showed weakness a lot, but even when she was under Dracula's spell, she kind of accepted her role in that she was the reincarnation and was instrumental in locating Dracula through the telepathic link in the book. Um,
Oh,
but of course, I mean, there's one thing I liked from the movie which doesn't happen in the book, which was Mina kills Dracula
oh.
in the movie by plunging a sword through his heart and then beheading him. But the thing is, she doesn't do it for survival. She does it out of love. She fulfilled his request to be put to peace, which it also in the as a side effect also breaks the curse and frees her. Um, but yeah, I liked that part of her character that she didn't do it out of like a sheer need to survive and a sheer need to have revenge for everything that he's put her through. Um, I think she genuinely saw the connection there, and it's kind of one of those Draculas I think that you end up having sympathy for.
I think, yeah. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I'm not a fan of this movie, and it's got
Mhm.
nothing to do with Keanu Reeves and that horrific accent that he thought was okay to do. I mean,
No,
good God,
horrible.
if they allowed Kevin Costner to do his American accent, could they not have, given him that opportunity as
Yeah.
well? They really did Keanu dirty in that
They
movie.
did.
Uh-huh.
They did.
But I watched it not long ago, and I can't find anything that is Gary Oldman aside, because I have that huge love affair with him. I always used to tell my mum I was going to marry him one day. I'm still holding out for that. But putting that aside, I just it's so. Oh, I don't want to say arty farty because that's not what I mean, but it's almost too for sake. But when it comes to um Mina, you've got to think when you look at her character, and you might see it as a bit docile and a bit passive. Look who she's up against as a friend,
hmm
Lucy.
Yeah, yeah,
Like she has to, and it is Victorian era. She has to have some airs and grace about her. She has to be able to pass off within the society that she's in, and kind of downplay how Lucy, her friend, actually is. I think she's got a lot of work on her hands there.
Yeah.
yes.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Interesting choice.
It,
Interesting
I
choice
knew
that
it
you chose
wouldn't.
a Winona.
Yeah, well, Winona's the main side of it, but I kind of like wanted to hit on the Mina from the movie because I thought she was a little bit different to the book.
Do you know, I've never read the book.
Oh God. Well, spoiler alert.
No.
But no,
I love
I
that.
wanted. I didn't like Mina so much in the sequel book, but
There's a sequel book?
it was wrote by Dakra.
Oh, I did not know that.
Apparently there was plans for a sequel, and Bram
Mm.
left a lot of notes, so he tried to put it together into a story.
Try and fix this, bitches.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to name my daughter Mina, but
Oh,
we overruled it, and Mina is now her middle name.
oh, that's so sweet.
It's adorable.
It is absolutely adorable. I mean, we go to Winona though. She is the queen of goth
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah,
day. Lydia
yeah.
Dietz will forever be, the queen of. I would say that for me, a very big gateway into kind of gothic culture.
Mhm.
Um, and not just like I would say Edward Scissorhands. She kind of brings a little bit of gothic flair into it there as
Oh
well. Even if
yes.
no, I'm not saying like the whole looks there, but the attitude certainly is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Girl Interrupted is a great film with Winona Ryder, and it's not
Girl
horror in the
Interrupted is a great
slightest.
film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not horror in the slightest, but it is a bloody good film.
But yeah, I like to think that Edward Scissorhands and kind of like Beetlejuice were a little bit of a gateway to this, like a start you're off on your horror gothic journey.
Yeah, 100%. It's like a starter pack. Just look at Winona.
Well, there you
But then
go.
look at what she did in Beetlejuice 2. And I refuse to call it Beetlejuice anymore. Beetlejuice 2. She still brought that gothic flair, that Lydia Dietz kind of look to her nearly, 30 odd years
Yeah.
later?
Yeah.
She's still got it. And I hope that doing Stranger Things has kind of give her the confidence to go back into movies once it's over with, because she is missed. She is one
Yeah.
hell of an actress.
Yeah.
She's off her tits, but she is one hell of an actress.
100%.
Good, great choice.
And what's your last one?
Oh my gosh, right, okay.
Okay.
If I get a chance to talk about this woman in any capacity, like I said, I will do so. But there's such an importance to this woman. She's not an actress. Well, she was actually, but she wasn't bit parts. But that's not what she's famous for. And it's only been in the last few years that her name is starting to come out more, and we're starting to get the true story of her life. It is Mildred Elizabeth Fulva de Rossi, who is also professionally known as Millicent Patrick.
There we go. That's the one I was expecting.
Yes. I honestly thought you would have thought it was Elsa Lancaster. No, it has to be Millicent Patrick. This woman is a trailblazer, not just within the horror community. I am talking about the actual industry itself. She worked for Disney in the 1940s. She is one of their first, if not the first, female animator that they ever had. She worked on Fantasia. She worked on Dumbo. She had two major movies. She then leaves Disney in the end of the 40s and into the 50s, goes to work for Universal Studios, and she does work originally as an animator. However, the makeup department do realise, who is then ran by Bud Westmore. I will contain myself. Who realizes that she is really good with special effects. And she did design work for It Came From Outer Space in 1953, and that's where she was kind of hired to go on to Bud's next film, which was going to be a creature feature amphibian kind of thing, and it turns out to be Creature from the Black Lagoon. So Millicent took inspiration when she was researching, because she was going to be doing the mold. She did the initial concept and she was going to do the mold and sculpt the mold. And she took inspiration from reptiles, amphibians, fish, animals, anything that she could find in order to create the sea monster that we get, which is Gilman, which then goes on to be Creature from the Black Lagoon. the studio loved her because they were taking photographs of her doing it. You'll see them all around with her holding the creature's head and she's working on the sculptures, and there's loads of photographs of her like that. They loved her and they wanted to do, and they did do this whole big press promotion, and she was the star. And it was the beauty who created the beast. And they took it around everywhere. It was so well received, but not received very well by one certain Bud Westmore, who took a massive dislike into the fact that this woman was getting the credit for work he had not actually done. There's photographs of him sculpting that I think Tom Savini has one of them because he likes to remind his students to not do this. It's the way he's holding the sculpting knife. It's the wrong way around. He did not have a clue what he was doing. So yes, Bud Westmore then ceremoniously sacks her and then takes all the full credit for himself. If you go and do the Westmore experience in Los Angeles, they do say, and I've got this written down somewhere, they say that Bud Westmore was only helped by a woman. That was it. Where did I write it? I wrote it somewhere. The actual words is what they used. The director of the Westmore Museum did tell Bud Westmore's supervisor, a woman who created the creature. Or Westmore supervised a woman who created the creature, but it was he who did it himself. So yeah, he managed to evade her name from all of it. He did it. It's his work. He takes full credit for it. And Millicent kind of goes into obscurity. She's not heard of until a very brave writer, and I say brave because the work that she did to get this out there, we wouldn't know Millicent's name if it wasn't for Mallory O'Mara and the book that she came out with. I actually own it, and I will get the name of it right so I don't butcher it. Okay, I can't find it. And I'm looking right at it, you tit. The Lady from the Black Lagoon, Hollywood's Monster and the Lost Legacy of Millicent Patrick. If this book doesn't come out, then her name gets completely lost forever. And the story of what Millicent actually did gets completely lost forever. Mallory brought I mean, there was talks, I've heard makeup artists say, like the likes of Rick Baker, well, we kind of know about Millicent's name, but not so much. It's because Bud managed to completely and utterly hide everything that she ever did. And she did a lot of work to create this iconic imagery that you have of the creature. Because I think it is just the sculpting that she does. She doesn't fabricate it. She puts it together. The molds that they use for him is her design, and she built it. But yeah, I had to bring up Millicent Patrick. It would have been a dishonor to not bring up Millicent Patrick. She created one of the most classic universal horror monsters ever. He is absolutely universally loved. I'm not saying that she created this one, that's for damn sure, because that face is it's questionable. But he is still universally loved today, and it is down to her and how she created him to look, because if we got what Bud Westmore was going to create, Christ knows what we'd be looking at.
Yeah.
So yeah, F Bud Westmore. And also go and get that book because it's really, really good. Her life is absolutely extraordinary. She used to live in the Randolph Hearst's mansion. Her dad was one of his one of his workers, and they used to live on the grounds. She lived with exotic animals living around her feet.
Wow.
Caterers, all the Hearsts had money. Lots of money, and they lived a very extravagant and rich lifestyle, and she got to live in the grounds of that. And like her journey through Disney into Universal Studios is absolutely incredible. And then it's quite sad, and it's quite sad to know that what happened to her after Universal and how she did go into obscurity. But the parallels between Mallory and her were quite spooky when she was going through it. And I think at the end of the book, she actually marked it with getting a tattoo of Millicent on her arm to kind of like
Oh,
memorialize her, because the similarities in their lives were quite spooky.
Yeah.
It's such a good read. It's such an important book. There, like, even I remember when Grimlife Collective went to Tom Savini's house to or his school, and he's got this picture up. He's got the Bud Westmore one, but he's also got a creature one, and he goes, "Oh yeah, and this book's just come out, and we've just found out who the actual person is who's created this amazing monster." So it was even brought up then, but yeah, had to be
Had to
Millicent
be.
Patrick.
Yes.
Had to be. That was my last one. I just had to make sure I mentioned her.
yes. She was the one I was expecting because I remember you talking about her before, and I was always fascinated by the story behind it because, again, it's like you were saying, you wouldn't have any idea.
No, no, you really, honestly, you really wouldn't. If this book, sorry, I'll bring it back out again because it's amazing. The front cover is absolutely beautiful. But yeah, if you don't have this book, we don't know this story, and her story gets completely and utterly lost. Which would be an absolute travesty. So yes, please go read The Lady from the Black Lagoon, Hollywood's Monster and Most Legendary of Millicent Patrick. But yeah, that's my last pick.
Well,
Excellent.
my last pick is Lupita Nyong'o, um, who is an actress who has been in the film Us, and
Oh, Lupita
little. Yeah,
Nyong'o.
apologies. I've probably
It's
absolutely
okay.
butchered
I
her
just look.
name.
The only reason I can say it is because I love saying her surname.
Yes, yes. But I just think what she brings to horror is absolutely
Hmm.
amazing. You know, if you haven't seen Us, you need to go watch it because it is one of my favorite modern horror stories, and for good reason. She plays two characters in it. She plays Adelaide and Red, and they are very, very different characters, but the way she does, how she physically acts them and how her voice works when she is playing each individual one, you know, one's the victim, one's the monster, and just just the way she does it, and it's scary, the role that she plays, and I just think she's an amazing actress. And then, you know, the other films that she's been in, Little Monsters is one of my favorite zombie films ever, where she plays a school teacher who has to basically make sure her kids survive a zombie outbreak, and it's a very, very different role that she plays from Us to this one, but she's just such a fascinating actress. You know, she is such a big advocate for diversity in media, and what she wants to represent for Africa on a global stage, it's amazing, you know. And the fact that she's been, you know, she's lended her voice to Star Wars, she's
Yeah.
performed Shakespeare. I just think she has completely redefined what a modern horror heroine is, and I think she's not lauded enough because she is brilliant.
Yeah.
I fully 100% agree with you. I am not a big fan of Us. It's probably my least favorite Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah,
I think it's overcomplicated. There's a
yeah,
decent story in there, but it's just overcomplicated with certain things.
yeah,
But I'm not taking anything away from Lupita's
Hmm.
performance in it. To think that her first movie ever is 12 Years a Slave.
yeah,
She goes in her first movie, she wins an Oscar.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
bawled when she gets up to accept that
yeah.
Oscar.
Me too.
Um, but also there's, I mean, obviously Star Wars. Um, but most recently for me is A Quiet Place Part One.
I keep forgetting that she's in that because I haven't seen that one yet. Because
It's so
I'm
beautiful.
scared to watch it in case I'm disappointed.
Don't
Okay.
be. I wasn't so bothered about seeing it straight away. I mean, I love Joseph Quinn. I have a lot of time for him, and I feel like he is going to go on and do some absolutely
Hmm.
amazing things.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just because it wasn't following the story that we were in with A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I can wait for this. We watched it not long ago, and it was absolutely beautiful. I cried quite a few times. Her performance in that is just breathtaking. But this Lupita Nyong'o, you don't expect anything less from her because she for me, she's perfect.
Yeah.
And how she played in Us, as much as I'm not a huge fan of it,
Yeah.
you can't take away from the
No.
two direct differences between her good and evil
Yeah.
character.
It's amazing.
But then it to be a switcheroo and be like, which one's the good one? Which
Yeah.
one's the evil one?
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating role, and it's iconic. You know, when I think about
that look.
yeah, when I think about it, I just think wow, and the fact that, you know, this was very early in her career. You know, she'd only done 12 Years a Slave, and then she's only done a few roles, and then it was this one. It's just, I just think she's an amazing actress, and I'm gonna have to go watch A Quiet Place too, I think, this weekend, to
I think you
admire
need
her a
to.
little bit more.
I think you need to. Honestly, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story, and it just, especially with everything that's going on and the fact that they can still tell a beautiful story within all the chaos. That's
Yeah.
what got me.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoyed about it. But yeah, that was such a good choice and such a different choice as well, because you don't, if you think Lupita Nyong'o, instantly horror is not where I go to.
No, most
But
people think
really,
Marvel.
oh God, yeah, she's in bloody Black Panther as
Yeah.
well. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
She's freaking, honestly, she's beautiful. She's phenomenal. Like her range is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Us, it's the I don't know. There's something a little bit more deeper
Yeah.
than just what I'd seen before.
Yeah. And that's why I couldn't not pick her, because I was like, okay, I need iconic women. And that's my final choice. And I don't even have any honorable mentions other than the lady from Resident Evil, whose name I butcher every single time. Miller.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna try.
Yeah, I butcher her, but anyone who knows me knows I love Resident Evil films, so that was a given.
Me too, because I love the games too. But
Yes.
yeah, I love the Resident Evil films. I think they're absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I just can't say her name either, and I ain't
Yeah.
gonna try. I only know Lupita Nyong'o's name is because I love saying her surname.
Yeah. I looked at YouTube videos on how to say it beforehand, and I still butchered it, but
You've heard half of the things I can't pronounce.
but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But Sarah, what's your last one?
I don't actually have a last one.
Oh no.
I do have some shout outs, but I don't have an official last one. My shout outs are, we can't really talk about authors without mentioning Mary Shelley, of course.
Of course.
Oh my, yeah, the queen of
The queen
yeah,
of sci-fi, horror, everything
yeah.
else. Yeah. Of course, the author of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that two movies I'd already mentioned actually had a female makeup artist do the main makeup on them. So I looked up who that was, and I would like to shout out V. Neal.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
V. Neal, who did the work on Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice.
She did. She
And
won an
did
Oscar for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did the main characters on that. She also did Pirates of the Caribbean and the Jack
Oh,
Sparrow, but
she
but
didn't
yeah,
do Beetlejuice too, though. And you
didn't do
can
Beetlejuice.
tell. You
But
can
yeah,
really tell. V's a powerhouse. If you want to
yes.
see if you want to see V more, go and watch the TV show Face Off. She's one of the judges.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I like
those
V.
are the shout outs from me. I'm going to do some of the shout outs from the socials.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few well-deserved ones in
Yeah.
there, and I
Oh.
thought, you know what, we're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of love for Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
Ripley, so Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
We got Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox in there.
Yep.
Melissa Barrera. I'm afraid I don't know her, and I'm gonna have to look her up. And Jenna Ortega also made an appearance in there as well.
Jenna is the new Winona.
She
Yeah.
is the new Winona,
That's,
yeah.
that's how I see it anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
I also had a couple of I had one in my DMs.
mhm.
The lady from Ginger Snaps. I can't remember who she
Was
who
it-
she, who she...
I've never seen
I
her.
I
wasn't
haven't
thinking of
either.
Ginger Snaps, I was thinking of Red, so no, it's not who I was thinking of. Um, I'm the lady from Ginger Snaps.
Catherine Isabel.
Oh,
Right, okay.
That was sent to me by DM, and I've lost the other one. But if I do find it, I will put it in the notes.
And thinking about it, we should probably give Christina Ricci a shout out as well, actually,
yeah, she's
because
the
the one of the my Wednesday basically, from the Addams Family, and of course she was in Casper, and she's been in the new Wednesday as well,
Yes,
and
she
everything
has.
in between.
yeah,
Um,
Sleepy Hollow. I
oh
would
God,
class
yeah,
Yes.
that kind of
Sleepy
like
Hollow. Yep, I would
yeah.
pass that.
Yeah, because that like to be honest, Christina Ricci is Wednesday. She made Wednesday. The original Wednesday was a
Hmm.
side character at best. You barely got to see
Yeah.
that. You barely got to see her on screen. It's Christina Ricci who comes in and
Hmm.
completely makes because she had nothing to work from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she completely was able to make this character something iconic and something of her own. Christina Ricci is such a good shout. And
Yep.
there's so many women in horror from the span from the 1920s right the way up to date that who all contribute in such a fantastic way
Mhm.
in making sure that we aren't just used as plot devices.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
have our means, we have our strengths. We are the final girl. There's a lot to be
Yeah.
celebrated when it comes down to women in horror.
I just want to add on there that Melissa Barrera was in Abigail Scream 6,
Yeah. Abigail.
and is that
Oh, she's a little
5?
girl.
No, she's a Mexican
Oh my God, is
actress.
she's Sam Carpenter in
I
Scream
haven't seen
6.
them, so I'm afraid I can't comment on that. Like, but that's who she is.
If
So
that's who I think it is, yeah, I think it is. I think she plays the kind of Sydney Prescott kind of type in the
right.
new Scream. She's not in the next Scream movie. She sort of ceremoniously got fired for having political views different to other
Mm.
people. At least that's what I remember happening.
Yeah.
Her first Scream movie, it felt like she'd never took an acting class in her life. The next one, she completely changes the game and she ups it. Something happened between them movies because
Yeah.
she sounded like Kim Kardashian reading from a piece of paper.
Oh.
Mm.
But then in the next one, complete another shift. And in Abigail, she was really good. That's such a good film, by the way. Little girl vampire ballerina. Get in. Who doesn't love it?
You've kind of touched on a point that I was going to make there, Sammie, already.
Mm.
How are you finding the progression of how women are portrayed in horror? Because it used to be that we were like scream queens or the damsel in distress, and we've moved on like the final girl, powerful villainesses, etc.
Mhm.
Um, I'm I come from kind of like a final girl era, I would say, like your Halloween. I'm liking the power that the final girl has to come to show.
Mm.
It's the wits that kept Jamie Lee Curtis alive. She's
Yeah.
clever. She uses what's around her to survive, and it's not just powered by revenge. Things don't happen for her to take action. She sees that there is an issue and survives through it, and with sheer will and determination. Um, how
I've,
do you guys feel about the
I,
progression?
I've never had an issue with where women stand in horror unless it is something that unless it kind of infringes on the idea that we're literally there for plot point use and plot point use only. I don't find that in the horror movies that I watch. We are part of the story. We are, we can be the killer. We can be the final girl. We can be empowered. We may need certain help. There's just different aspects of it, but oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a toughie.
No, I feel very much the same. I'm very picky in what horror I actually watch. And I've only watched a couple of films where I thought, no, this isn't what I want from horror. I do
Hmm.
pick the films which are more positive in how they view women and how they portray women. Um, I do think, there are some films that are a thing of their time.
Yes.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but they're probably not they're not designed for me. They're not designed for what I want from
Mhm.
movies.
It's a tough one,
Yeah.
especially in horror, because you could just be going down the road of, well, this happens to this woman, so therefore it is a target kind of thing. I don't view horror like that. I can understand the meanings behind things, and I do try and look at stuff as, but just on, I watch a lot of horror,
Yeah.
and I've been watching recently a lot of 80s horror, and you would think at the time of the 80s, the woman would be kind of, damsel in distress, dumb blonde, kind of, they're anything but. They're really anything but. We are doing our next episode is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. The main actress in that, she's an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
And that was what 1983?
Yeah.
So it's like it's such a hard conversation to have, because I don't see the arguments, or want to have or want to have the arguments with people over how women are treated in horror. I think it's such a difficult one to have, and to be able to put into words correctly, which is why I am mumbling and stumbling
Same.
through this. Yeah,
Same.
it's the language. I don't want to come across as using the wrong language,
Yeah.
or trying to have that conversation, because I, I don't see things like that. I'm looking for storytelling at the more, like the way that I want to watch my horror is, I want to see the story, and I want to see the storytelling in it. I'm not looking between the male and the female side of things, of who's got it worse.
Yeah.
I'm looking at really good storytelling. I'm looking at makeup. I'm looking at the gore level. I'm looking at the cinematography, the color
Yeah.
palettes. So it's a hard one
Yeah.
to have a conversation, for me anyway.
No, I fully understand that, and that is 100% why
Yeah,
I'm
let's just stay
I'm
away
I'm
from
struggling to
that.
get the words out. But as we're
Yeah.
getting towards the end, is there anything you want to promote, Sammie? Anything you want to tell us
Um,
about what you've got going on?
what have I not going on? So, if you don't know me, I am part of the Nerdy Up North podcast. I co-host that on a Sunday night. I am also part of the Monsters Up North podcast, which is a dedicated horror podcast, and I co-host that on a Monday. That goes out on a Monday morning. I also co-host another podcast, which is the Countdown to Doomsday, a Marvel watch along podcast with my good friend Jake. So yeah, I do quite a bit. There's three out there. There's three out there. I do my own movie reviews with on my own personal Instagram that do get shared to the reviews up north. There's a lot. I'm here. I'm always here.
Busy lady, busy lady.
Yes. But
Um,
thank you for having me back.
it's
Yes.
been an absolute pleasure. It's hello.
It's been a long time. The last
It
one we talked
has.
about was Marvel.
And that was like Christmas
God,
time last year.
yeah.
That was the last episode that you were on. But we couldn't do Halloween time tradition without you
No.
having you on. You're gonna have to come
Sammie
back
would
every
never speak
Halloween.
to us again.
Yeah.
I would not, and I know these ladies personally. Yeah, I've been invited here. I did get invited onto Anime Club
Mm.
because they're doing their spooky season, and I was shocked because I'm not an anime fan, and two, I just really didn't have the time to do it, and I'm so sorry. But yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, and then I got invited on to Top Grumps as well. Everyone wants us for
Oh,
Halloween season.
wait, you're the Halloweeny spooky
You are
lady.
the Mistress of Horror, aren't you? We've got to have you for.
Mistress of Horror.
Mistress of Ceremonies. My goodness,
Okay,
do you girls not listen to my podcast?
but you've had many titles over the years, and
I've had many names over
I
the
like
years.
that one. Thank you.
Mistress of Horror, I do like that.
Yes,
You're our Mistress of Horror.
yes.
Do you know who actually gave me the Mistress of Ceremonies name was
Hmm?
Beth? Because
Beth.
I was calling myself the
Nice.
I was oh god, it was the Master of Ceremonies,
Yeah.
and it
Mm.
was Beth who changed it and said the Mistress of Ceremony. I was like, oh, okay,
It's
Mm.
okay,
fancy.
and yeah, it was Beth who changed
Nice one,
the
Beth.
first part. I never really give her credit for that. Thanks, Beth.
So, well, this is you giving the credit.
There's your platform to do it.
Yes.
Thank you, Beth. It was a really long time ago as well. It was kind of like in the first year of Monsters, and we've been going nearly, what, this is our third season? And it'll be coming to an end for the end of season 3, ready for our break, and then back in the new year.
Mm.
Yeah, we have all sorts going on. If you do like horror, if you have come here for horror, we have all sorts going on. We are starting to reach out to the horror community, and we're getting people on from who do their own horror content, and what's it called? When Monsters Meets Monsters.
I love it.
Nice.
I love that.
I do come up with some catchy names, mind.
Yeah.
I'll give myself a pat on the back for that.
Yes, we're
That's about
continuing.
it though.
We're continuing spooky season next time, aren't we, Sarah? Because I've dragged you along on doing on.
Yes, yes. For the next episode, we're going to take a trip down memory lane to a popular book series for pre-teens and teens when we were younger. I don't know if they're still popular now, but we will find out. We're going to look at point horror books.
Oh.
I can't wait. I've been reading a
Okay.
few stories in preparation, so I've still got I've got a few more to do.
Is this what Dan's doing? Dan's selling at the moment.
Yeah.
Dan did have some point horror books
Right.
in.
That it was perfect because I didn't have the book that she sent me, so I was like, "Yay! I get to read
Oh,
that."
did you do one of the mystery
Yeah.
books? Fun. Oh, they're fun.
Literally, I have never bought something so quick because literally we had spoken about doing a point horror episode about 2 weeks before, and then it came up, and literally everyone kept tagging me or sending it to me, and I was like, okay, I'm going, and I've bought one, and I got the babysitter,
Oh,
and
yay.
it's one of the best ones. So I'm excited because this is kind of my Halloweeny horror pick for this year. So I'm excited to talk about point horror.
Oh, I
So-
love that. I love our mystery boxes. I got
Yes.
this. I did the Stephen King one.
Yes. So
And
I'm
I give her a
excited.
list of the books I already had because I was like, don't you dare. I was like, I don't care about anything else, but please, you understand I am on a Stephen King journey at the moment. Do not give me a duplicate.
Yeah, that would be rough, but yes. So we are going to be talking about point horror books, and there are going to be some famous authors that turn up in these books. Just a little spoiler.
Ooh.
But did you say
okay.
what episode is next for Monsters Up North? Did you say it was Season of the Witch?
Season of the Witch.
Yes, Chopping Mall is available now. That just came out on Monday. That was dropped on Monday on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel and from anywhere you get your podcast from. That's if you love 80s horror, go and listen to our Chopping Mall episode. But we're also keeping into the 80s realm because we are doing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So that is the next one. The one after that, I mean,
I've actually got a few people that I know have said that their favourite Halloween is Halloween 3.
it's such a good Halloween movie. Like if you're thinking about Halloween, the actual day, day, if you're gonna watch something, watch Halloween 3. It's got nothing to do with Michael Myers, and it is such a good story, and it has one of the catchiest songs going in there. But the following week will be something a little bit different than what we've done before. And a genre I don't think people know that I actually really like, so be on the lookout for that.
Oh well,
That's intriguing.
that's it.
Yeah. So as ever, we've got on Nerdy Up North, we've got Monster Mondays, we've got Top Hump Tuesdays, Rumblecast Wednesdays, Anime Friday. Then there's either WONC or Countdown to Doomsday on Saturday. And of course, the main pod on Sundays. And as an extra for Spooky Month, we've got a few local law videos going out too. A few of which I've done about local ghosts in Sunderland. But yes, Nerdy Up North really does have something for all your nerdy needs.
Okay.
It really does.
It really does.
And with that, I believe it is time to sign off.
It is.
Thank you again for Sammie coming on, of course.
Mwah.
So open invite anytime, you know this. But for now, keep your hearts full and your fandoms fierce, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye bye.